Let's get started. It's time we start. In today's environment, especially, immunity has become a very important thing because there is no vaccine. Although we are in difficult times, and a lot of people have been affected by the coronavirus, and much more. If you see the numbers, people who are recovered from that is also good, and people who are affected and who have lost life, people who are recovered and then again got infected are also there. So how is this happening? Some people they don't even realize that they got it. Their body itself is able to react to that and fight the virus. For some people, even despite all the medication, they're not able to save them, or even they show signs of recovery and then they become a fatality. They're not able to survive. On the other hand, there are people still in China, in Wuhan, in China, who are not at all got affected. This is like the epicenter. So, what is the difference? How is it? How is it? Things are happening that somebody is not at all affected, and somebody, despite all the treatment, is not able to survive. So, one thing we can say is their immunity levels are different. So, when we say immunity, what it is? So, when we say immunity, our body's own capability to fight a virus or fight a disease. Our body has a very wonderful, what you say, the immune system. For example, a small dust particle enters our nose. Immediately, the body tries to analyze what it is. So it's identified that it's a dust particle, and the body tries to throw it out in the form of sneeze, right? So a dust particle enters, immediately body eyes analyze what is this particle. Okay, this particle is harmful for me, and the body tries to throw it out in the form of sneeze. But what we do, we think that sneezing is a problem, and we try to stop the sneezing. See, body is so intelligent; it has identified dust is a problem, and it is trying to throw the dust out. But we think that sneezing is a problem, and we try to stop the sneeze either by taking some medication or forcibly with the help of a handkerchief or by closing the mouth. So when this happens, now body will be scolding the person saying that this is a dust particle, I'm trying to throw it out. This person is stopping the dust particle. So this person is not allowing me to throw the dust particle out. Now body, what it will do, if this dust particle enters the system, enters the blood veins, enter any of the organs, it will be very harmful for that organ, harmful for the blood, it will be harmful for the blood veins. So this body will now cover this dust particle with the help of phlegm, or what we call as common cold. It will try to cover it and then try to throw it. So that time what will happen, when you stop the sneeze, you'll start getting running nose. So even when you're cleaning the house, if with the broom we are not able to clean, we'll be throwing water and trying to clean. Same thing body also does. When the dust your body is sending out, you're not able, but you're stopping it. The next step would be to clean it with water. So immediately when you stop sneeze, you'll start getting running nose. And what we do, we try to stop the running nose also. Then we get the common cold. Try to stop the common cold. Then the body will store it as a phlegm and keep it in the lungs. It will say one day, wait, I will try to throw it because now this person is not allowing me to. So such is the immune system of the body. The body's immune system is very, very strong, but unfortunately, we are not allowing the body to do its job on one side. On the other side, this earth is meant for all living entities, not just not just human beings. So this earth, this universe is meant for all living entities. When one person is taking, or when one form of life is taking all the resources, then there will be a fight back from the nature. So this is something that we have to be prepared for. When only human are taking all the resources, though the count of human is very less in compared to all the living entities. See, in our hand we can hold all the space enclosed within the hand is enough to hold all the coronavirus all over the world. That is the size of the virus. If you add up all the virus all around the world to all the people who are infected, it will be maximum only this much, or this much. So the count of human being compared to the count of other living entities and virus and insects and animals and aquatics, human count is very less, but the resources the human being is taking is much more. And hence there will be an imbalanced system and there will be nature's way of fighting back. So we should learn to live in harmony with all the living entities. Only then it will be a very a positive, good scenario. Whatever we see around us, what we are, what we see, what we eat, everything is made up of five elements, or what we call the Panchabhuta, right? Starting from whatever we see around us, greenery, insects, birds, plant, everything is made up of five elements called as the Panchabhuta. These five elements are earth, water, air, fire, and ether or space. So whatever we see around us is only these five elements, or a combination of these five elements in a different way. Whatever we eat is also these five elements. Whatever we see is also these five elements. We are also these five elements. Without these five elements, there is nothing. So this is called the five basic elements. So these five elements combine in different proportion to create different things that we see. So a human body is also made in these five elements, and when we keep these five elements in a proper way, our body will be proper, right? So that is important. So let's try to understand how these five elements are. We generally think that we eat food, we get energy. Yes, definitely true. When we eat food, we get energy, but there are other ways to get energy also, which we are generally ignoring, or sometimes we don't know. So what is this five elements? So five elements is to earth, water, fire, air, ether, and there are also temples for these five elements. So these are called as Panchabhuta Sthalam. So earth, which is in Kanchipuram, Ekambaranatha temple. So when we visit these temples, so somebody is lacking in one of these five elements. When you go there and stay in that place, you tend to get those qualities which you are lacking. So earth is Kanchipuram Ekambaranatha temple. Water, this is the place near Tiruchi called as Jambukeshwar. And fire is Arunachaleshwar, Tiruvannamalai. Air lingam, this is the Kalahasti, and space is nothing but Chidambaram. So somebody is lacking one of these five elements. So generally, what people used to do earlier, at least they'll try to visit these temples and try to stay there for some time. So when you're, let's say you're lacking water energy, so when you stay in that place, you tend to get that quality. So that's how in the ancient days they uh, built this temple in such places where these energies are very prominent. So somebody was to going there, staying that place for 1 week or a month, they try to get back that energy which they are lacking. Earth energy. So whatever we eat comes from the earth. Either you are vegetarian or non-vegetarian, whatever you are eating, that food is come from the earth only. We say somebody is eating non-vegetarian. So that non-vegetarian goat or hen is eating grain or leaf grown from the earth. So indirectly you're eating earth. So earth is the energy which whatever we take as a food that comes from earth. So regarding food, I have extensively spoken in a lot of my previous sessions. So what to eat, right? So how and you people are also very much aware. There's a lot of awareness now in people compared to earlier, wherein we know that we have to cut down on white sugar. We have to cut down on maida. I would request if you can take a piece of paper and pen, and if you want to make some note. So regarding food, we have spoke extensively, and people are also very much aware. They know that they should avoid the white maida, they should avoid the sugar, they should avoid the processed food. Try to eat more of fresh vegetables and fruits. Try to eat fresh juices. Try to eat leafy green vegetables, and replace your rice and wheat with millets. So about food, there is enough said and told. So I wouldn't want to go elaborate on that. So people are aware. You are aware what is the kind of food you should eat. You should avoid the negative pranic foods like meat and egg, and they should increase more positive pranic foods like grains and vegetables and fruits. Right? So one small story about this I want to tell. So once what happened? There was a king who said, who called all the he fell ill and then after he recovered, and after that he called all the doctors in his kingdom, all the medicine people who are related to medicine and doctors and surgeons. He called all of them and asked them to find out everything that is written about health, everything that they know about health and treatment and recovery, whatever they know, whatever they have read, whatever is it. He asked them to collect everything. So everybody collected all those things, and they bought a. They took a 1 month time, and they bought a truckload of all the information, all the books that they have read, whatever their experience they have written. So everything they collected. So this had a list of all the disease that is present in the kingdom, and the medicine for them, and the recovery for them, what diet, get medicine, everything was there in those books which was there in the truckload. Now the king said, okay, this is very nice. You people have put 1 month effort to get all that information to one place. Now it's practically impossible for any person to read all the set of books. To read all the truckload of books, it is practically impossible. So I want you people to condense everything, and give it in one single book. So again, all the doctors and the people related to medicine started condensing that. So whatever the truckload book was there, now the task was to, among that, make it a summary and cut it down and make a single book. It took 1 more month to do all that, and finally they came up with one fat book which had everything known about medicine. So now the king said, this one book is also too much to read. I want you people to give it in one page. Now the doctors and people related to medicine are going bonkers, that how to reduce all that. So first of all, collecting was a big task. Then bringing the truckload of books to single book was a big task. Now reducing that one book into one page is going to be very difficult. But still they had to do it because it was the order of the king. So finally they did that. So they brought everything down to one single page, and they said this is the essence of staying healthy. This is the essence of all medicine in the kingdom. Now the king said, okay, and this time you take, every time you're taking 1 month, this time you take 2 months. All I want is, out of this one single page of book, I want it only in 2 lines. In 2 lines, you have to tell me everything. So they became an even bigger headache. Then finally they debated, they argued, and finally they came up with 2 lines. And they said, this is the 2 lines that is the essence of being healthy, the essence of staying healthy, the essence of avoiding disease, the essence of recovering from all these diseases. So what is those 2 lines? The 2 lines are: eat, you may want to make a note, eat when hungry, don't eat when not hungry. This is the first line. So eat when you're hungry. If you're hungry, eat. Otherwise, don't eat. Second line. While eating, you should close your lips and chews. You should not keep your mouth open. Your lips should be closed. Then you chew the food. So you put the food inside and then close your lips, your mouth, and then chew the food grindly, nicely. So these are only two statements. Eat when hungry, don't eat when not hungry. While chewing the food, lips should be closed. So they finally said that this is the only mantra that you need to know. When we condense everything, this is what is the ultimate. So when we eat, when we are hungry, and don't eat when you're not hungry, the body immune system and the body functionality, everything is proper. See, earlier what happened in our days of our grandparents and their grandparents, they suffered due to lack of food. But in our generation, we are suffering by eating excess food. So we're eating even we were not hungry. We're eating because we got let's say we got a Swiggy coupon, we got a burger, or somebody invited us. So we are not eating for hungry. We are eating for everything else. And some people don't even know what is hunger. Some people ask, what is hunger, how it will be. So I say from here you start walking and uh, walk to say 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers. So from Bangalore you walk to say Attibele or Hosur, and that time you will feel hungry. You will realize hungry because nowadays people are not at all knowing what is hungry. So when you do a lot of physical work or you don't eat for some time, that time you will feel hungry. And when that hunger is there, that time you eat, and when you eat, you chew with lips closed, right? So about food, about earth energy, we already know a lot of things. We know that we have to avoid the negative pranic energy like meat, egg, and fish. You should take more positive pranic energy like fresh fruits, juicy vegetables, leafy, green leafy vegetables, milk if you are able to get the good A2 quality, milk, grains, and millets. So about food, everything we know. How to eat food is something that we are not knowing much, and this is the two simple steps from the example of the story we understood, that chew with lips closed and eat when hungry. Very very simple. So if we follow this, it is more than enough to balance the earth energy within our body. And if possible, sometimes you can touch the mud. Touch the mud. You can have a small pot, or if you're not able to have a small pot, you can just walk in the garden barefoot if possible. So just be in touch with mud whenever possible, at least once a week. So that will be also good, right? So earth energy is this. This is it. Earth energy is nothing but food, right? Because food comes from earth. Either you take vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food. Food comes from earth, and when we have the proper balance, and the food, we have enough earth energy, right? So the next is water energy. So water, generally, some people will say, drink 2 liters of water, drink 5 liters of water, 5 glasses of water, 6 glasses of water. When somebody is saying like this, they never told whether this recommendation of two glasses of water and 5 glasses of water, whatever, it is not for it's not for a person who's in Bangalore, or for a person who's in Chennai, or is it for a person who's in Rajasthan? So different places, the water requirement will be different. Different places, the water requirement will be different, and for different people also it will be different. Say even in Bangalore, somebody is working in the sun, somebody is working outside versus somebody who's sitting inside a AC. Their body requirement will be different. And even for a same person, today if he's doing some physical work, he's doing some exercises, he's going out, his thirst will be different, his body water requirement will be different versus the same person who's not doing so much physical work. So how much water to drink, nobody can tell except your own body. Because if a person in Switzerland drinks 2 liters of water, he will die out of kidney failure because kidney will be working overtime. It's a very cold place, so body is not able to throw the water which it already has. Body is because there is no sweat. So for 2 liters of water is too much for somebody who's in a Switzerland or Kashmir where the temperature is very low and there is no sweating. Body is struggling to throw that water, and that's the reason if you see in these very cold places, the food is bread mainly, because bread has capability of absorbing all the water. So if you see these countries, European countries, the main food will be bread, pizza, different combinations of bread and potatoes. So these are having the quality to absorb the water. Same person, a person in say Rajasthan desert, if he's drinking say 2 liter water, it may be very less for him, right? So how much water to drink? You cannot give up with a statement telling that you should drink only 2 liter water, you should drink only 1 glass of water. There is nothing like that. If you are feeling thirsty, you drink water. If you're not feeling thirsty, don't drink water. As simple as that. No matter what is your condition, no matter how much physical work you're doing, no matter where you are, if you are feeling thirsty, drink water. If you're not feeling thirsty, don't drink water. There's one more thing that people do with water is early morning they get up and drink a lot of water. So this is one way of cleansing the body, but there is a small catch with this. So when you drink that water of 1 liter or one big glasses, that entire water has to come out of the body in the form of urine. Then you can eat anything else or drink anything else or do other things. So what people do is that drink 2 liters of water and then they start eating, or then they drink some coffee, or then they drink some juice. So that is not going to help, because you drink water, that water should be out of the body, and after that only you will feel hungry. When you drink 2 liters of water, you will not feel hungry. So drink water when you're thirsty. If you have a habit of drinking water in the morning, that is okay. You can drink water the moment you get up from the bed. Some people drink one glass of water. That is fine, but that water should come out of the body. Then you follow the other steps. Then after that, if you're feeling hungry, you eat. So immediately after getting up, some people drink water. That is fine, but that water should be out of the body, and after that you can drink or eat anything else, right? So with water, this is a very simple thing. So same person may have different water needs within the same day, or in 2 different days in different places. So if you're going to a place somewhere in Tamil Nadu, you will be requiring more water. If you are in Bangalore, or if you are going to Chikmagalur or Coorg, your water might be much lesser, right? So based on the climate, based on thing, your body will say, I am thirsty. When the body, the whole idea is to communicate with the body. When the body says, I am thirsty, that time you do water. As simple as that. The next is the fire energy. So for food, earth energy, we know through food we get earth energy. Water energy, very simple. We are thirsty, we drink water. For fire energy, what do you have to do? So for fire energy, you have to do physical work. For fire to be balanced in the body, you have to do physical work. Without physical work, there is no other possibility. Of course, through eating, there is some fire energy generated in the body, but that is very minimal. So you should do some physical work. There is no complete alternative for that. So when you say physical work, it doesn't mean that you go out and plow the field. Whatever physical work you can possible do, you should do. So human body was not meant to sit in front of a computer for 8 hours and 12 hours and watch TV. And no, human body was meant to work in the field, hunting, gathering, farming. These are the kind of very physical, intense work was there. But in our present day life, we are not doing all those things. So then you have to alternate that with other things. So what you can do is you can do your morning exercise, morning walk. Nowadays you have a lot of fitness trackers, so you can see, you can keep a target for yourself. I will walk 10,000 steps. So some kind of physical work should be there. If your physical work is minimum, you should straight away cut down on your food, because we are used to eat certain amount of food and do certain amount of physical work when we are younger. But as we grow older, if you're taking the same amount of food but your physical work is reducing, then the fire energy will be lacking in your body, and you'll not be able to burn all the excess fat. Right? So if you follow the thumb rule, the golden rule, eat when hungry, don't eat when hungry. That is the limit of food that should be there for a person. And physical activity is something that you have to do. Only then the fire energy will be there in the body. Without physical work, this fire will not be there in the body. So you have to do some kind of physical work to have this fire energy. So physical work, as I said, doesn't mean exercises. Say somebody is a housewife, and the whole day she's running around, working in the kitchen, washing clothes, doing the whole household courses, going and buying vegetables. That is also physical work only. Doesn't mean that it has to be exercise. Some kind of physical work should be there, and you should feel hungry. That means that proper physical work is there going in the body. And also the taste bitter, right? Like bitter gourd, karela, right? So bitter gourd, karela, pavakai. So this the bitter taste, that also has some element of fire in it, so you can add that also in your diet. But there is no alternative for physical work. You have to do physical work. You have to do whatever is possible in your limits. Climb the stairs wherever it is possible instead of taking a lift. Walk if it's a very short distance. And through the weekdays, if you're not able to do, at least make it a point to cover up for that in the weekend, right? So if you are watching TV series and we're missing something, what we do in the weekend, we do binge watch, right? We watch all the 5 episodes together. So similar thing we have to do for physical work also. Ideal would be every day do the physical work. If you are not able to do that, at least in the weekend, spend more time for that, because the fire energy will be balanced only with physical work. Next is the air energy. So this through breathing. So breathing also, uh, at least 10 minutes in a day we should do deep breathing. So normal breathing is enough, but to increase our air energy to complete the panchabhuta cycle, so air you have to do breathing exercise pranayama. So breathe exercise, a lot of videos, and I'm sure you also are aware of so many different types of pranayama. At least 10 minutes in a day dedicate for this. So breathe through one nostril, close it, hold it as long as you can, and then release slowly. So if you are breathing in for 5 seconds, let's say, you should hold it for 7 seconds. That should be longer than how much you breathe. And you should release in 9 seconds. Okay? I'm just giving an example. So how much ever possible you can breathe in, hold it as long as you can, ideally more than how much you breathe, and then release should be slow. It should be very, very slow as possible. If you release the air faster, instead of gaining energy, you will actually lose energy. So let's say somebody is breathing in 2 seconds and is releasing in 1 second, which means you will lose the air energy, you will lose the fire, right? So breathe in, hold it as long as possible, and release gradually in the same speed. So there should be a lot of control in the breathing out. So you can breathe through one nostril, hold it, breathe out through the other, repeat for some time, and then switch. Then breathe through the other nostril, hold it, and release. So this you can do. Then you can breathe through both the nostrils, hold it, and then release. So there are different types of breathing exercise. You can select whatever is comfortable, but at least 10 minutes, in a day, you should dedicate for breathing exercise. Then the most important and the most ignored, I can say, is the ether or space energy. So the Panchabhuta food anyway we eat. In fact, we eat more. Water we are drinking mostly generally water is fine. Generally is fine unless somebody is drinking 2 liters of water and then going and eating food. The next was the fire energy. This is something that is kind of lacking. Breathing is okay, but dedicated 10 minutes I would suggest give for breathing. The fifth and one of the important things is the space or the ether. So this energy we get when we take rest. When we take rest, when we sleep, we get this space energy. So it's space, nothing but a gap, right? So it's a gap between what do you say? It's a gap between two things. So continuously are we doing physical work, we're watching TV, we're working, and then we're directly going and crashing into the bed. We may fall asleep, but most of the times what will happen, people will get up in the night. Immediately they're very tired, they fell asleep, but after 1 or 2 hours they woke up and they're not able to get sleep again. Or there are a lot of people who are not at all getting sleep. They will be crawling in the bed for a long time before they get the sleep, right? Or they're sleeping very less. So the sleep is where the one of the problem is there in our present day society. A lot of mental disorders will arise if a person is not getting proper sleep. So what I recommend people is do something called as the sleep ritual. Okay. So what is the sleep ritual? Basically, a few set of steps that you are doing every day before sleep. So this is one your way of communicating to the body. If I do this set of 5 or 10 steps, I'm going to sleep. Ideally, a place where you sleep, your bed, must be only utilized for sleeping. But in many cases, it may not be possible in a bachelor room or a single bedroom house. You are using your bed for multiple things. You are using your bed for sitting and working, for sitting and watching movies, for chatting. So your bed is used multiple ways. Now the body is kind of confused whether this person has come to the bed for sleeping or he's come to this bed for watching movie. Whether the body is confused. In an ideal scenario, bed means you should sleep. You do the other activity in other parts of the house. When you come to the bed, it should be utilized only for sleeping. If that is not a possibility, at least when the time you're going to sleep, at least arrange the bed properly, change the bed sheet or remove the bed sheet, dust it, put it back, and then go to sleep. So this is your way of telling the body that if I change the bed sheet, if I dust it and put it back, I'm going to sleep. Okay, it's a very, very important point. Though it may sound very simple, but it will help you get a proper sleep. You're communicating to the body and telling that if I change the bedsheet, next activity I will do is I will go to sleep. And some other steps also you can add. So you can add steps like I'm just giving us some examples. Take warm water or warm milk. Read some very very light book or listen to very light music. So if you when you start doing the same set of things, drinking warm water, milk, read a very light book, or hear light music, then go and change your bedsheet, and then go to sleep. Just follow these few set of things regularly for a few days. Automatically, you'll see a very different quality in your sleep. You will see that your sleep is much improved, right? So so this is kind of important. So if you have a proper sleep, your the next day will also be good. So sleep, use the bed only for sleeping, and if it is not possible, at least change the bed sheet or take out the bed sheet, dust it, put it back. So your way of communicating to the body that now I am going to sleep. If I do these four things, I'm going to sleep. If I do these five things, I'm going to sleep. Try to follow this, and then you see you'll get a very good sleep. And also, if you are doing a lot of physical work, automatically you'll get sleep. So somebody who's saying that I don't get proper sleep, walk from here to Hosur, 40 kilometers. It will take like 8 hours time. The moment you reach Hosur, you will feel very very thirsty. You will feel very very hungry. After eating the food, you will just sleep like anything for 10 hours. So you do enough physical work, automatically you'll get enough sleep. So sleep, rest is one part of the space or the sky energy. The other part of the space or sky energy is the silence. Unfortunately, in our present day, we are surrounded with so many gadgets and people. There is no silence, kind of in our life. That's why this activity of meditation and just sitting in silence. Don't do anything. Don't think of anything. Just sit in silence and try to focus on any one aspect or any one thing, or just sit in silence. That is more than enough. Just do a 10-minute silence in a day, and you will have so much energy for the rest of the day. Just silence. Continuously, I was doing break. There is no gap in between, right? So sit in silence every day. 10 minutes you sit in silence. 10 minutes you do meditation, and then see how these how energetic you will be in the whole day. Only through food is not energy. Through sky, through this silence is also energy. Through water is also energy. Through physical activity is also energy. So when a person balances all these five elements, automatically he'll be very energetic, and his immune system will be very very good, right? So along with this, especially in the present day scenario, we can take some steam inhalation. So hot water, and add a little bit of Vicks or Amritanjan, or you have this thing called as axe oil. You can add that. Or you have this Nilgiri oil, just a few drops of that. They are very very strong. just one or two drops of that in the boiling hot water, and then steam inhale. Inhale, hold it for some time, and then slowly exhale. So if when we do this, this also is helps us fight in all kinds of flu, and definitely increases our immune system by destroying the viruses. So ideally, you can do once in a day or every alternative day is also fine. But at least once in a week, if you do this, it is very beneficial, especially in the current times. And you can make different types of kashayam. So kashayam is nothing but a very basic kashayam would be having dry ginger, pepper, pudina. Just smash it, boil it, filter it, and drink it. If it is warm, it's good enough. There are so many other things also. People add beetle leaves. People add various other kinds of leaves. So I would leave it to their choice. But a simple kashayam will have dry ginger, pepper, and if possible some pudina, pudina or tulsi. Just boil it. So you can replace your coffee and tea with this kashayam. So that will be very beneficial. Coffee and tea contains caffeine, which is a kind of dilute drug that affects your sleep and hunger cycle for almost 6 hours. So once a person goes to a doctor and says, "Doctor, I'm not getting proper sleep," so the doctor gives him some sleeping pills. So he takes the sleeping pills, and he's still not able to get the sleep. So he comes back and to the doctor and says, "Doctor, I took this whatever tablet you have given me, but still I'm not getting the sleep." The doctor asked, "What did you take the tablet with? Did you take it with water or milk?" Now he says, "I took it with coffee. Sometimes I took it with tea." Then the doctor laughs and says, "Coffee and tea contain substance that can affect your sleep cycle and hunger cycle for up to 6 hours. So your body, you're giving two things. You're giving the sleeping tablet and you're giving the coffee. The sleeping tablet is trying to make you sleep, and the coffee is trying to keep you awake. So the body is confused. The nervous system is confused. Body stimuluses are confused, right? So avoid tea and coffee. These kashayams are good, and if you're taking tablet with coffee and tea, please avoid it. Tablets or any medicine should be taken with water. Some medicines can be taken with milk also, but coffee and tea generally avoided. And medicine though should definitely avoid. So when we balances all these five elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. If you remember the childhood days, we used to have a program called as Shaktiman. So in that we saw how he five energies combined and Shaktiman was created. If we also balance out all the five energies, we will also be strong enough like Shaktiman. Okay. So with this, we end today's session. If anyone has any question, we can take. No questions? So I'll just summarize. So first thing is, our body contains of five elements, and when we balance these five elements, our body's immune system will be very good. Earth energy we get by eating. So we already know what kind of food to eat. The only thing is we should eat when hungry and don't eat when not hungry, and chew nicely with lips closed. Water energy we get by drinking water. Again, drink when thirsty, don't drink when not thirsty. Fire energy will come only through some physical work. You have to do some kind of a physical work. Whatever you like. It could be yoga, it could be aerobics, it could be running, it could be walking. Whatever you are dancing. Dancing is also good. If you are feeling the other things are bored, you can take up some dancing online classes. In YouTube also there are a lot of dancing videos. So close the room, put the YouTube video, and start dancing if you're feeling shy. Some kind of physical work should be there. Breathing, 10 minutes of pranayama is a good starter, and the rest. So have a sleep ritual. communicate to the body that you're going to sleep. So when you do that for a few days, body will understand that no, I should. This person is going to sleep, and a little bit of meditation